Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most audacious, most legendary heists in British history. We're talking about August 8th, 1963, when a gang of criminals did something incredible. They didn't just rob a mail train. No, they literally stopped it dead in its tracks and walked away with an absolute fortune.
So let's start with the number, the one that really puts this whole thing into perspective. The gang got away with £2.6 million in cash. Now, in today's money, that is a staggering £62 million. At the time, it was the biggest cash robbery in British history, and you can bet the sheer scale of it just completely captured the world's imagination.
So, the big question is, how on earth did a 15-man gang pull off a crime of this magnitude? Well, this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment smash and grab. Oh no, this was a carefully orchestrated military-style operation built on months of meticulous planning and a very, very specific target.
And the key to the whole operation? It was all about the target's vulnerability. See, the gang had an inside man, a mysterious source known only as the Ulsterman, and he let them in on a crucial secret. The train's usual high-security carriage was out of service. The replacement, it had no alarms, no barred windows. It was basically a sitting duck, and it was carrying a massive cash haul from a long bank holiday weekend.
The precision of the heist itself was just remarkable. They had this clear four-step plan. First, stop the train with a fake signal. Next, storm the engine where the driver, Jack Mills, was viciously attacked. Then, uncouple the high-value carriages. And finally, form a human chain to offload 2.5 tons of cash. The whole thing was executed with terrifying, military-like efficiency.
The heist itself was, you gotta admit, nearly flawless. But the getaway? Oh, the getaway was anything but. Their downfall began almost immediately, and it all started with a single, incredibly careless sentence.
And there it is. That was their first critical error. One of the robbers told the captive train crew not to move for 30 minutes. Now, that one little slip-up told the police everything they needed to know. The gang's hideout had to be within a 30-mile radius, about a half-hour drive. The search area, the dragnet, it suddenly got much, much smaller.
So while they were all hiding out at a place called Leather Slade Farm, the gang's confidence just boiled over into pure hubris. They had their loot, they were secure, they thought they were safe, and they decided to pass the time with, of all things, a board game. And this part is just incredible. After a tip-off from a suspicious local farmer, police raided the farm. Turns out the gang's cleanup was seriously sloppy. They'd failed to burn the place down to destroy the evidence. And worse, so much worse, they'd left their fingerprints all over a Monopoly board, which they'd been using to play with the real stolen money, and on a bottle of ketchup. I mean, can you believe it? Criminal masterminds, brought down by a board game.
So the discovery of that farm and its absolute treasure trove of evidence, well, that kicked off one of the largest manhunts in British history. It became this massive cat-and-mouse game between the robbers and Scotland Yard's absolute best. And the whole manhunt really became a personal duel between two key figures. On one side, you had the gang's leader, Bruce Reynolds, a self-styled mastermind. And on the other, you had Scotland Yard's most formidable thief-taker, Detective Chief Superintendent Tommy Butler, who was known as the Grey Fox for his incredible shrewdness and just fanatical dedication. And when the law finally caught up with them, boy, did it come down hard. The judge called the heist a crime of sordid violence inspired by vast greed, and he handed out sentences that totaled over 300 years. The ringleaders, they each got 30-year terms, which was harsher than what many murderers were getting at the time. But, for some of these guys, prison wasn't the end of the story, not even close. In fact, it was the long sentences and a series of absolutely daring escapes that transformed this whole sordid crime into a modern legend. And nobody, absolutely nobody, embodies that legend more than Ronnie Biggs. And what's funny is, he only had a minor role in the actual heist, but he became this international celebrity because of what he did next.
The timeline of his escape is just unbelievable. After only 15 months in prison, he scales a wall and jumps into a waiting van. He gets plastic surgery, flees to Australia, and then ends up in Brazil. For 36 years, he taunted the authorities. He even recorded a song with the Sex Pistols and survived a kidnapping attempt before he finally, voluntarily, returned to the UK in 2001. And what about the others? Well, the aftermath for the other ringleaders was just as dramatic. The mastermind, Bruce Reynolds, was caught after 5 years on the run. Charlie Wilson was actually broken out of prison, only to be recaptured years later in Canada. And Buster Edwards, after he came back and served his time, famously spent his later years running a humble little flower stall.
So, what do we make of it all? What is the real legacy of the Great Train Robbery? Was it a masterclass in criminal audacity, a rebellious kind of act that just captured the public's imagination? Or was it simply a violent theft that left its victims traumatized and its perpetrators with, honestly, very little long-term gain? That's the enduring question of this legendary heist.